is Jeopardy! Please welcome our contestant. Player one. And now, here is the host of Jeopardy, Alex Trebek.
Thanks, Johnny. Welcome to Jeopardy, everyone. Good luck to you in the Jeopardy round. For this game, the categories are as follows. Best Female Rock Vocal Grammys. Brutus. Made to Measure. State Governors. You're going to win a Pulitzer. And Inti Fresh. Player one, you start. 1995. You ought to know. Here's the correct response. Alanis Morissette. Player one, back to you for our next selection. 1994. Come to My Window. Here's the correct response. Melissa Etheridge. Player one, back to you for our next selection. 1979. Hot Stuff. Here's what we wanted. Donna Summer. Please pick again, player one. 1981. Fire and Ice. Here's the correct response. Pat Benatar. Select again. 2000. There Goes the Neighborhood. Yes, player one. Sorry, that's wrong. Here's what we were looking for. Sheryl Crow. Player one, back to you. He penned the immortal line, "The fault, dear Brutus, is not in our stars, but in ourselves." Yes, player one. No, sorry. Here's the response we were looking for. William Shakespeare. We return to you, player one. In this 13th century work, Brutus is described as suffering in the lowest pit of hell. Here's the correct response. Inferno. You again, player one. This Greek biographer of parallel lives suggested Brutus was Julius Caesar's illegitimate son. Here's the response we were looking for. Plutarch. Player one, choose again. Brutus joined a conspiracy to assassinate Julius Caesar that was led by this man. It's player one. You are correct. Player one, back to you for our next selection. During the Roman Civil War, Brutus sided with this man, but was later pardoned by Julius Caesar. Oops. Here's the correct response. Pompey. Player one, you pick again, please. In Asia, use a gu if you want to measure a cup of this for an electric cooker. Here's what we were looking for. Rice. Player one, you pick again, please. Of about 30, 50, or 100 inches a year, the Earth's average annual amount of precipitation. Yes, player one? Nope. Sorry. Here's what we were looking for. 30. You get to pick again, player one. Take a nibble if you want 4 of these binary units of computer code. Okay, player one. No. Here's what we wanted. Bit. Player one, back to you. This unit equals 4 inches when measuring an equus caballos. Here's the correct response. Hand. Player one, back to you for our next selection. Nellis Air Force Base has 70,000 solar panels, which produce 15 of these units, 25% of the base's summer power. Here's the correct response. Megawatts. You again, player one. Elected in 2003, this governor made his totally fantastic film debut in 1970's Hercules Goes Bananas. Here's the correct response. Arnold Schwarzenegger. Player one, you pick again, please. This patriot, known for his bold signature, died in 1793 while serving his 9th term as governor of Massachusetts. Let's hear it, player one. Correct. Please pick again, player one. By law, this ex-Texas governor can never be elected U.S. president again. We're talking about George W. Bush. Player one, you pick again, please. He was elected governor of Arkansas at age 32. Let's hear it, player one. Right. Player one, back to you for our next selection. Hamilton Fish, Enos T. Throop, and George Pataki have served as governors of this state. Here's what we were looking for. New York. You get to pick again, player one. Julia Keller won in 2005 for her reporting on a 10-second event, the destruction of Utica, Illinois, by one of these. Yes, player one? Ooh, sorry. That's incorrect. Here's the response we were looking for. A tornado. Please pick again, player one. In 2007, counterintelligence columnist Jonathan Gold became the first critic of these to win a Pulitzer. The correct response is restaurants. Player one, back to you for our next selection. This city's Herald won in 1993 for public service for coverage of Hurricane Andrew and its aftermath. Let's hear it, player one.
Yeah!
Yes, and you're back into some money. Player one, pick again. It's the Daily Double.
Yeah! Woo!
You are in first place. You need to select your wager. The clue: the first 2 Pulitzers for writing these, to the New York Tribune and Louisville Courier-Journal, didn't name the authors. Good. Player one, choose again. Russell Jones won for his reporting about Soviet repression from this capital in 1956. Here's the correct response. Budapest. Player one, pick again. Hue or die? Yes, player one? That's it. Select again. A thin piece of rigid material to maintain a body part in a fixed position. Okay, player one. Sorry, that's wrong. The correct response is a splint. Please pick again, player one. A short race at full speed. Okay, player one. Yep. Player one, you pick again, please. 5-letter word for gleaming brightness or luster. Player one. Good.
Yeah! Woo!
And the last clue for $1,000. To look with the eyes partly closed. Let's hear it, player one.
Yeah!
That's correct. The Jeopardy round will begin right after this. We start the Double Jeopardy categories with this one. World capitals. It's all good. TV producers. Busy as a beaver. Art and artists. And Minority Report. Let's get back into this now. You have control of the board. Budapest is the capital of Hungary. This is the capital of Romania. Here's what we were looking for. Bucharest. Player 1, back to you for our next selection. The capital of India is not pronounced Calcutta or Calicut, but this way. Here's what we were looking for. New Delhi. You again, Player 1. This world capital is on the island of Java. Here's the correct response. Jakarta. We return to you, Player 1. Answer. The first of the 2 daily doubles. You are in first place. Player 1, please select your wager. Here is your clue. Laid out in 1874, the botanical gardens in this capital have an observatory with a statue of Tycho Brahe. No, that's not right. Here's the correct response. Copenhagen. Player 1, back to you for our next selection. This city on the Malay Peninsula is the capital of Malaysia. We're talking about Kuala Lumpur. Player 1, pick again. It's the car battery terminal with a plus sign. Okay, Player 1. You are correct. Please pick again, Player 1. It can mean far better than average or not yet settled like an unpaid debt. Okay, Player 1. No. Here's the correct response. Outstanding. Player 1, choose again. The bird Ardea herodias isn't just any blue heron, it's this blue heron. Player 1. Correct. Player 1, you pick again, please. As an adjective, it means very impressive. As a noun, it's a lavish production. Here's the response we were looking for. Spectacular. We return to you, Player 1. Marvin Hagler was Marvelous Marvin. Tom Seaver was nicknamed Tom This. Here's what we wanted. Terrific. Player 1, you pick again, please. The Fairmont in this city's Nob Hill was the exterior used for Aaron Spelling's Hotel TV series. Here's the correct response. San Francisco. You again, Player 1. David Chase created this HBO series and wrote many of its episodes, like Mr. Ruggiero's Neighborhood. Here's the correct response. The Sopranos. Player 1, back to you for our next selection. He moved from Melrose Place to the East Coast for Central Park West and Sex and the City. The correct response is Darren Star. Player 1, pick again. In 2003, this Survivor head honcho began conducting a search to give Donald Trump an apprentice. Here's the correct response. Mark Burnett. We return to you, Player 1. He probably has another 6 or 7 Law and Order offshoots on his desk just waiting for network slots. The correct response is Dick Wolf. You again, Player 1. Beavers have 6 of these on their heads in 2 sets of 3. One is transparent and helps in swimming underwater. It's Player 1. That's not it. Here's the correct response. Eyelids. You get to pick again, Player 1. This 5-letter beaver home may have separate entrances and a carpeted floor. Hopefully no elks. The correct response is a lodge. Player 1, choose again. Of 1, 5, or 15, the rough maximum number of minutes a beaver can hold its breath underwater. It's Player 1. Sorry, that's... Here's the correct response. 15. We return to you, Player 1. Answer?
Yeah.
The second daily double. And you're in the lead now. Please enter your wager. And the clue. Natural enemies of the beaver include bobcats, coyotes, and this glutton associated with Michigan. No. Here's the correct response. The wolverine. You get to pick again, player one. The coat of arms of this company, founded in 1670, displays 4 furry beavers. Here's the correct response. The Hudson Bay Company. Player one. Pick again. This telegraph inventor's notable portraits included those of the Marquis de Lafayette and William Cullen Bryant. Yes, player one? No, sorry. Here's the correct response. Samuel Morse. You again, player one. Picasso painted this work as a protest against the bombing of a town in the Spanish Civil War. We're talking about Guernica. Player one, back to you for our next selection. In her 1949 painting, Diego and I, Diego Rivera is depicted on her forehead. Here's what we were looking for. Frida Kahlo. Player one, back to you. Helen Frankenthaler's soak and stain technique was inspired by this artist's drip paintings. We're talking about Jackson Pollock. Please pick again, player one. One of his last paintings before his 1903 death in the South Pacific was a landscape of Brittany in winter. We're talking about Paul Gauguin. Select again. A 1936 dissent by Justice Stone accused 6 other justices of a tortured construction of this document. It's player one. That's correct. On the plus side again. Player one, you pick again, please. In his first major case as Chief Justice, he found himself in the minority in 2006 as Oregon's assisted suicide was okayed. Here's the response we were looking for. John Roberts. Player one, choose again. Justice Brennan, dissenting in Paris Adult Theater v. Slayton, said this quality is too vaguely defined to regulate. Here's what we were looking for. Obscenity. You again, player one. Justice Holmes dissented when seditionist Jacob Abrams' conviction was upheld, saying he didn't pose this type of danger. Here's what we were looking for. Clear and present. And the last clue for $2,000. Justice Harlan was an honorable one-man minority in the 1896 decision Plessy v. Him. Here's the correct response. John Ferguson. I'll see you for Final Jeopardy in just a moment. Final Jeopardy still to come, and here's the category. Italian inventors. So, what's your wager? The Final Jeopardy clue is as follows. In 1910, his new invention helped Scotland Yard catch a murderer escaping to North America across the Atlantic. What did you say? And that will cost you. Here's what we wanted. Guglielmo Marconi. Congratulations, player one. You're the winner. Good game. Thank you so much for playing.